Alright, so we're on the top part of this guy, and what we got here is the accelerator pump. This has got a little thing. If you were to replace this, you can buy like the full kit, and this you just undo this little tab and then put your new pump on. Or some of the cheaper kits, they just have this little grommet that you replace on it. So this guy's your float, and the problem with these is they kind of get bent out of shape sometimes, and then they hit the wall and get stuck up. So they have a tool from Clark's that measures like the distances, but I've been always too cheap to buy that, so I mean I always hope for the best here, but it's a little hard to tell what's going on, you know, if it's stuck or not. But they got the measurements in that book, like I was telling, how far you go down and how far you go up, so just trying to line it about right. So on the earlier Corvairs, one thing to note, the earlier ones didn't have a spring on here. The later ones did have a spring, and you know, I was wondering if they needed that spring to keep it from flooding, but basically this is an earlier one, so you take off this little pin in here and then you can remove the float. So what I'm saying is the later ones had a spring on this guy, so you have to do the spring and then get it lined up. So we got that guy off, and this guy looks like in good shape. You know, it's not full of gas, so you know, I'm gonna say it's probably good. And this shaft is nice and clean. I rebuilt this not so long ago, or at least messed with it. And this is your pin. You can see this is pretty new too. So I mean, I went through the basic kind of clean up with this guy. And this has got a rubber tip on it. Okay. So what I got is the ball pieces that go in here, and that's supposed to help with a little bit higher pressure. So I'm going to do that and kind of just put these in there. I'm not going to reuse them though. Need a big enough screwdriver, which I don't have right now, to undo this top. So the other things to note here, this is always tricky to me. You just want to keep one as a reference to see which side this goes in when you hook this up. So something, you're not seeing it. Yeah, this thing right here. So it's got a little arm that fell out of here, and it's always tricky to me as to whether this arm goes on top of it or not. You know, which way it's supposed to go, if it's supposed to go like that or that. It may not go one way or the other. Actually, I think it's more when you take this guy off that it becomes confusing. Anyhow, what else we got here on this side? So your fuel filter, sometimes these get bad, and they go in here with the spring. So when you take this out, just be careful of the spring that comes out. You make sure it's on the right side. So we'll do that. I can do that. Maybe I can track down a screwdriver too. So let's see here. This is Michigan time. It's almost about 12 o'clock. I'm about ready to wrap up here for the night. Got my Mountain Dew over here. Keep me a little lively for a little bit longer. It's all empty. Alright, so these are a little bit easier to do while they're on the car. So I'm just going to take a peek at this. I'm guessing it's new though. This is, you know, this rebuild is not necessary. I knew I needed to replace the gasket, and I just want to make sure everything's like correct. So I'm just using a wrench on there and turning it. Alright, so these are what they call stone filters. So we're going to take a look at that. I might rinse it under the water, you know. Let's take this guy out. Ooh, there's some nasty stuff in there. Didn't expect that. So this has been run for a little bit. There must have been junk in the fuel, because you can see there's black in the center of that. So I'm going to go take this into the sink and see if I can rinse that out. But man, I can't believe that. So there's your spring. This guy goes towards the outside, as you can see. And then this is like that. So I'm really surprised on that. It's that dirty. Yikes. So I'm going to go rinse it out, and hopefully it comes out. And there's a little gasket thing on here. When you get a rebuild kit and you're like, what does this go to? This is where it goes. And there's a hole. So basically you'll spray some more carb cleaner in here, spray this and clean it out, because Your fuel comes in here, stops right here based on whether the float's open or closed. Fuel comes in here, goes down to here, and then it's closed based on the float. And then you hit the accelerator and go vroom vroom. Alright, I'm gonna go clean this out. So this is the end of this video. This is basically the top repair part of this. I'm not in its entirety, but I'm going to show you everything. So